Hello everyone, in this video we're going to talk about composition. Now, I'm guessing that some of you don't know what composition means, so I will try to explain it briefly. Composition refers to how the elements on the screen appear in respect to each other and within the frame itself. The word element here is talking about the characters, scenery, props, and text. In other words, the director, cinematographer, and/or storyboard artists leads the audience's eyes to a specific region of the screen to convey the message of the story, a feeling or an emotion that enhances the experience, or an information. In simpler, broader words, composition is technically the same for painting, illustration, and comics. The differences are obvious since a film or an animation is a moving image. The composition could change anytime within a single shot or between a cut. Now that's out of the way, the animatic that we have here is Project Suicopath. If you haven't watched it yet, there will be a link to that video on the upper right corner or the description. Go ahead and watch it, and you can pause this video while you do that. I could also talk about Pizza Rush, which is another animatic that I made for my storyboard class, since I put more thought into it compared to this one. If you want me to talk about that, make sure you leave a like on this video. I'll only ask for around 100 likes. I know it's a really small number that I'm asking, but considering how the last video went, I think it's reasonable for asking just a small number. Hello! So, the first part, which is the introduction, was scripted, and this part is not. So I will edit it, of course, but I apologize in advance if ever I say something that is off or eerie because my English isn't that good. Yeah, it's not my first language. Another thing is that I may sound pretentious, like, oh, I did this, I'm really good. That's because I'm trying to point out my intentions behind it, and I don't know if I have to reason. I'll try to make it reasonable, that it's believable that it is intentional. So what we have here is Suisei from on the left side. Also, I'll put some rulers on this and just to prove my point that it's off-centered, things like that. So Suisei on the left side of the screen, kind of the left side of the screen, and then she looks towards the right. Now, this implies that she's going towards the right, right? Really cool sentence there. So, what I have, the main idea here is that he is going from left to right. That's my main idea here. The reason why that is that it doesn't imply that the right side is always evil in all media. You know, it's not like that. It's like a switch for me on this film. It's like she started from the left, and then she'll eventually be on the right side, and that's it. So yeah, you'll see how that goes as we go on with this. Now you'll see here she's occupying the space, and then the cut after that is this, in which this shoe is occupying that space, and it's a bigger shoe, so you know you're instantly looking at that. The reason why I did this, which is intentional, I know it sounds like a common sense things to do, but I just have to explain why that is. We were told in my first year of studying animation, I'm still studying it, it's my last year this coming semester, is that we were told that our film is going to be shown in a big screen in film festivals. Now, we were also told that be mindful when you cut some, things. So if I cut a character, like a character is shown on the left side, and then I cut, and then now that character, the same character, is now on the right side, it's gonna be really abrupt and confusing for people. Unless I want it to be confusing and a montage and all that stuff, it's fine to do that. But if that's not the point, if I don't want it to be confusing, then don't do that. Let's just keep in mind that you can have something be filling up the space of the same thing previously, so that their attention wouldn't be confusing as to, oh, I'm looking here now, oh, I'm looking here now, things like that. But I know this doesn't matter that much nowadays because most media are consumed through a small screen, like a tablet or a phone or monitor in a laptop, things like that. So yeah, I get it. It doesn't matter anymore. But this is more of me putting it into practice rather than, trying to wow everyone, I did it really cool, very epic. No, it's not like that. It's just more of a practice for me. So yeah, I know that took a while to explain, but we get there. So from left to right again. So this particular shot, I want you to remember this, keep this in your mind, because this will show up again later near the end, just to tie things around neatly. But yeah, this is her coming from left to right, and then we cut to her perspective, and then we see, she pulling up the pamphlet or whatever this is, a note stating her, role in this game. And then we look up to her. The camera is like down, looking up to her, looking down at the note. And this, implies the feeling of being dominated, or like, filling up the space, suffocating, or things like that. So, a comet going down, things like that. Yeah. So now we pull out from her here, zooming out because I want to stay consistent from the previous cut. And then she's still going from left to right. I know she's holding the axe on the left hand. I don't know if she's left-handed, by the way. So that's the thing. I don't know about that. And then she spins around and then holds the axe on the right side of the screen. And then she swings it back again towards the left side. And then we cut to her perspective, and the axe is now on the right side. We have the tunnel or vent here. I don't know what it's called in Project Winter, but that's there. Cute, Easter egg, whatever. And then we zoom in to the axe, showing her reflection, and all that stuff. Assuming that your focus is on her face, the next cut would be this. And again, she's on the right side, comparing to the axe and showing, being there. And also at this point of the story, it's more of her, don't let them know, don't let them see, things like that, and showing that they're up to no good. Now, the thing is that, again, I'm gonna say this because I said it and I got off track. Assuming that your focus is on her face, the space that is there is supposed to be her hand, right? And it's true that her hand is there, but it's not that clear. And I could have made it better by pulling the hand farther from her whole body so that it will give off a better silhouette. And at that point, that the hand moves towards her face and wagging and all that stuff, it will draw your eyes toward her face, and that would have been better, And that's what I mean about having improvement and all that stuff when you're checking back whatever you're done. So yeah, we'll see if ever I improve next time and all that stuff. Now that I'm mentioning this, it's gonna be really hard to come up with a new thing. But yeah, that's the thing that I. So what happens here is that she zooms in, pushing towards Ayame, and you'll notice that she's trying to occupy the whole space, but she isn't because the camera is still far away. The reason why that is because I couldn't make my mind if I want to zoom in so that I'll have Ayame feel really small, like only a corner of her eyes is showing or not. I could have done it, but I didn't because I want to have this quirky little thing in which Ayame has a horn and also Suisei also has horns, like now. And this is intentional because, I draw the background. I don't know if that's, obvious, but the background trees became her horns. So yeah, I could have drawn the ponytail lower, but I didn't because I am lazy and I forgot. So yeah. So at this point here, it's just me practicing my, lip syncing. I didn't put anything in the background because, I couldn't put horns on her at this point, and all that stuff. I don't know. I just didn't because I'm too lazy, I guess. Here, I could have enhanced this shot by putting trees so that it lets you focus on this specific area. So the trees would be pointing at, her head or anything like that. But I didn't because I'm too lazy again. And I think at this point, I turned off my head about composition and all that stuff. Even though it does look neat and it does mimic this part where she's planting, it's the same kind of vibe that it's giving. Her head is technically on the same area, but it's not side by side. Like that cut doesn't show after that. So I don't know. You could be debatable, but there was a theme that I was trying to capture there. Anyways, moving on. The heart is on the right side of the screen. Very pog, very cool, but at this point of the story, she hasn't killed anyone yet. We haven't seen that happen yet, but this makes us assume that it already happened and she has already killed someone. And now this part, yeah, I know this is confusing because something bad happened and it's on the right side of the screen. I know it stays consistent on the theme that I was trying to convey, but I feel like I could have made this better if I did something like this or something like this. If I experimented more on what I wanted this to look like, right? But again, you could only improve so much about things, and I only have limited amount of time to work on this. I know 2 weeks is really long, but I have to also think about other stuff too. I also have to work on other stuff while I was working on this. So yeah, I know, confusing. I did it, whatever, right? So that happens. She sliced off her head. Easy to understand. There's not that much, thought to be put into this. And then what we have here is just a zoom in. It's a filler thing. I didn't really put so much thought into this. I could have put more thought into it, but I didn't. And then at this point, it's more of where you're coming from. If you've been reading a lot of Western media and you're used to reading from left to right, but it also tries to accommodate of people who's reading from right to left, because Japanese manga, it's from right to left. So now it's a bit confusing to accommodate for the two of that. So I have to try and at least make a leeway for that. So for now, in this video, I'll just explain how this will go through in a mind of a person who's just watching this for the first time or whatever. So the Western consumers would look at Shion, Matsuri, and then Fubuki. And then at that point, it will be zigzag back and forth, because at that point, if you stop from on Fubuki, then you'll see Suisei, and then you'll go back and forth to Miko. But why is Suisei blurred? That's because I'm also trying to accommodate from the manga readers or people who's reading from right to left. So if you have Fubuki, then Matsuri, and then Shion, then next would be, you'll start with Miko, which is not that blurred. You'll see the wolf, and then Miko, and then you go back to Suisei. But I don't know if it works fine like that. And at the same time, I don't know if Suisei being really closer to the camera makes any sense. But it's an experiment for me, and I guess you guys could answer that here. But then again, this is this and that is that, whatever, right? And I did something here, and I don't know if you noticed it just now. Yeah, I don't know. It's a funny joke, maybe, I don't know, who knows, but it has been irrelevant at this point, maybe tell me if it's not funny and I shouldn't make this kinds of jokes, but again, it's there. So now we have that zigzag pattern again. So Suisei, Miko, Suisei again, and then Luna being chased by a bear, and then we cut to this, which is the same thing a while ago, and then she puts down the what do you call this, the landmine and all that stuff. I noticed this, in which it should be a hole poking in the background. Now this point, the background has a use, I guess. It puts the character in a setting, right? So this is really prominent. I don't know if people notice that, but that's there, and then this is here, so implying that it's the same place, and she technically step on the landmines. But what happened really here is that there was a confrontation, and I just did a different scenario here, but it's kind of similar, I don't know. But yeah, that happened, and then eventually it exploded. Now there's a lot of things happening here, and like I mentioned, the horn things, as I mentioned it now, you're probably looking at it, yes, it's there, and that's intentional. So the trees in the background became Suisei's horn. So yeah, that's the thing. And then we cut to the next one, which is Suisei pretending to be Fubuki and torturing Matsuri. So that was fun, right? I don't know. And then here, what we have here is that I could have added the blood again, because it's the same scenario, I don't know. But yeah, implying that this is happening. She's on the center, and yeah, that's the thing. She's spinning around, and I could have made it better by making the background gray so we can see the trees in the background better, but I didn't. I don't know. I'm just incompetent, I guess. I'm not that perfect. And here, I like this part, because she puts the axe down, and then the next cut we have this, which is implying that she's moving her axe, raising her axe over her head. And now she's on the right side, by the way. I just need to mention that because, like I said, it's a overarching theme that I had. And yeah, so we have this going on. And I don't know, I could have added more drawings, not frames, by the way, because not all frames are new drawings. Because, it could be the same drawing for every single frame. So yeah, so what we have here is that her pulling up the axe and then diving it down to someone else, I don't know. But yeah, I really like this part, just personally, because she's like, I got these lip syncing right, and there was character acting, she's chopping off and then all that stuff. It was really for me, it's really nice. I don't know if people think the same way, but yeah, I like that part. And then what we have here is just a filler. At this point, while I was making this, I really am tired, and I was just like, I just want to finish this. So I made this part. It could have been better. It could have been, something else. But yeah. So she's going up. I could have put trees again on her head, like but I didn't. I don't know. And then here's this cut. Remember what I said? Remember this cut here? Yeah, that is the part where it's mirroring this part. So there you go. And then at the end, so at the beginning, I said elements like character, background, and props, and also the text. So this is what I'm implying about the elements text, like the title sequence. So what I could have done here, which is could have been better, is that the Suicopath, the word Suicopath, could have been bigger, and it's really encircling her alone. But I didn't want to cover the characters that are laying around here, so I didn't do that. So I just had to cope up and like have this as a thing. I could have drawn the this better, like put them lower and all that stuff, but I didn't. So this is what we have, and that's what I got. So like I mentioned, I could have done this better, that and this. I hope this gives you an idea, the thought process behind composition and all that stuff, what it means, and all those kind of things. And also, again, if you want me to continue making this kind of content, do tell me so in the comment section. If not, then we get to move on from this. I guess I'll just post some animation, whatever, because my point and my reason why I like making this is that to find out that I'm not the only one struggling with such things, and everyone gets to see how or what is the thought process behind this and things like that for those who are actually interested. So yeah, hope you have a nice day and see you around.